Hello, friends. This is Ash from inspector-training.com. And this series of videos, I'm going to go through API 577, building inspection and metallurgy. This is a part one. I'm going to give you general information about the exam, and then we will move on to next video about publication effectivity, recertification, how to apply, exam and scoring, and etc. and schedule and fee. So if you type in API 577 in Google and look for api.org or American Petroleum Institute website, it should normally be on the first two or three in the Google. And then click on that, it takes you here. Now, by default, it takes you to 510, but there is and then you can select the program. Okay, you select the program and then you select 577. So it takes you to API 577 certification, welding inspection, and metallurgy. And each one button is in certification. Okay, so if you do say ICP Home Individual Certification Program, it gives you general information. What is this individual certification program? It's practically about all the API certificates, impartiality, veteran opportunities, contacts, and etc. And the certification is to providing knowledgeable, specialized inspector, etc. This ICP or individual certification program. And if you click on certification, you see by default it's gone to API 510. There's a scroll down window. So you go to the certificate that you want to attend the exam, you are interested. So in this case, it's API 577, and it will take you there. Now, this exam fortunately can be done in person, both in person and remote proctoring. And remote proctoring means you can do it from the comfort of your home or office. So at the time of application, you can opt for remote proctoring. It's the same set of security checks. We will go about that remote proctoring later on, how that is done. But at the moment, I just want to let you know what is the certificate is about. Now, obviously, the API 510 pressure vessel, 570 piping, and 653 storage tank inspector during their course of job and inspection, they might find some welding repairs to be done, and anytime when there is a welding repair, there is also NDT done, and to make sure that the repair is soundproof and is well done, and there is no crack after the repair or any defect. So for that, they should know about the welding inspection, the welding procedure specification, the welder performance qualification, the procedure qualification record, which is the supporting document for WPS, what you should do before welding, during welding, and after welding. So this is like, also I would recommend this certificate to be very useful when you are going for your welding inspector ticket, such as CWI, Certified Welding Inspector, the US one, the CWB, the American one, and then the C-Suite, which is the British one. So this would also help you a lot when you are attending those inspector certification programs. Now, if let's see what is the exam structure and either what's the qualification you need for this. Um, I'll go through the publication effectivity sheet first. So the publication effectivity sheet practically tell you what sort of documents you need to study for the exam, and the body of knowledge tells you what you are expected to know. So from what you're expected to know, you can understand what type of question you're going to be asked during the exam. So if you click on publication effectivity sheet, you can see two documents. Previously used to be just API 577 recommended practice, the entire document. And now they have added ASME section 9. In our course, we have also added directly explained the ASME section 5, the NDT as well. And section 9, you can only do the part QW, only the welding side of it, because ASME section 9 is about welding, brazing, fusion operator, fusion welding, fusion procedure. But this is only about the welding, because that's normally you don't have any brazing or fusion procedure, fusion operation there in repair of the pressure vessel piping or storage tank. So it's only welding. So that's why the QW part only you need to know. And from QW part, you should know only around 20 pages, roughly around page 170 to 190 of as ASME section 9. Now, if when the revision changes, this page number slightly change, it could be a few pages up and down. Okay, but overall, you need to know 20 pages. So don't be worried, because this ASME section 9 is a long, 1,000-page document. So you shouldn't know about only the inspection part of it and only the welding part of it. Obviously, API 577, if you look at the API 577 by itself, you can see this looks like a mini pocket. It's around 150, 160 page long, and it talks about welding inspection, prior to welding, during, and after the welding. Talks about welding processes, and there are 8 processes as you see here. The most popular, they discuss not every welding process. Shielded metal arc welding or stick welding, gas tank welding or stick welding, gas metal arc welding, flux core arc welding, and submerged arc welding, and the less popular stud arc welding and plasma arc and electro gas welding. And it talks about the welding procedure, WPS, obviously, the PQR, procedure qualification record, and tube to tube sheet welding procedure. And it talks about welding material, P number, F number, A number, and welder qualification, WPQ. And then it talks about VT very concisely, visual, magnetic particle, all the NDT methods, liquid penetrant, eddy current, radiographic, ultrasonic, hardness testing, and leak testing. And then there is a section for metallurgy, the mechanical properties. And then finally, it's about refinery and petrochemical plant welding issues. So you can see that it's slightly different from the normal welding inspection program. It's a combination of NDT, welding engineering, with emphasis on repair. Okay, so you don't see, say, for example, tube to tube sheet welding in any other welding inspection program, because this is basically the APR thought the need to provide some sort of program for operation and maintenance. And okay, let's go to actual exam and see what the body of knowledge actually wants from you. You can see here that it asks about term definition and acronym. So the vocabulary, and because all of the API exam, it tests you at level 2 or the basic. So you have trainee, basic, supervisor, master level. And you are normally questioned about the basic level. It's the basic information and the concept and all that. So you should know about welding process because those 8 welding process. You should know about materials. That's about metallurgy. You should know about welding procedure, welder qualification, and you should know about NDT, and you should know about welding inspection, what you do, what parameters you check before welding, during welding, after welding. You should know about metallurgy, and then that you remember in API 577 was a section for refinery and petrochemical plant, and also you should know about safety precautions. It's a very, very wide topic, but very basic things you should know at the same time. So it might look a bit confusing. But keep in mind that API 577 welding inspection and metallurgy exam is actually what they said is going to fulfill. Is that it's going to aid practically the authorized inspectors in pressure vessel, piping, and storage tank to have a better understanding of welding and welding inspection and NDT. These API 577 already a part of the reference material in all these 3 core certifications, but here obviously it's all about welding and welding inspection and NDT, so it's more focused. This certificate is valid for a 3-year term, and the exam structure is such that you have 3 hours, 15 minutes, so that's like 195 minutes for 110 questions. So roughly you have like 2 minutes per question, less than 2 minutes. Out of 110 questions, only 100 are scored. So remaining 10, they call it pre-test questions, which are not scored. Remember, API has a standard way of maintaining and updating its question data bank for each certificate. They have 1,000 questions in the data bank, and every time you do the exam, it is another set of questions. You don't get the same set of questions. And so they update this question data bank as and when the reference material are updated in publication effectivity sheet. The list of materials, in this case, API 577 and ASME section 9. And so they design new questions, and this question needs to be vetted, that it needs to be challenged. So they include it as non-scored question or experimental question. And every time you see those 10 questions being added, which are not scored, the reason is that they want to see whether it's not too difficult, it's not too easy, it's clear enough, it's not being challenged by the candidate during the exam. So there is no marking on this non-scored or scored question. You can't find out which one is scored, which one is not scored. So you have to answer all the questions. I would rather suggest that you leave enough time, 10-15 minutes, to look at all those plugged up questions and do a proper time management and have a progress accordingly. So you got 195 minutes for 110. You do the math. It's like less than 2 minutes per question. So you should be have a pace of like 35 to 40 questions per hour during the exam. We'll go through exam tutorial later on, but at the moment, that's about it. And in my next video, I'll talk about qualification and recertification, and then followed by exam tutorial and how to apply and exam scoring and frequently asked questions. Thank you.